It's finally time to talk about my 2025 planners, and honestly, I'm so sorry this is very late, but this is typical for me. So I'm not using all of these planners, but these are the planners I used in 2024, and these are the planners I'm going to be using this year, and we're going to talk about why I'm switching up and all that kind of stuff. So first, I just wanted to show you quickly what I did this year and what I didn't do. So my main planner in 2024 is this Classic Happy Planner. This was the first year that I used a Classic Happy Planner as my main planner, and I was really excited to try it out. It didn't really work out for me for various reasons. So I started the year in the dashboard layout, and I love the dashboard. I like decorating it. I think it's fun. I love how functional it is with the list over here. I liked the flexibility of having these sections here to do whatever I want, but the problem I have with the dashboard is this side of the page. I love this side. I don't love this side so much. My brain tends to work vertically when I'm, planning. So it didn't quite work for me. I love this section though. I do think that this is such a great planner for so many people. It just started to not work for me. So then midway through the year, I switched. I think I switched in July or maybe earlier. No, I was still using, I kept putting in vertical pages too every once in a while. But let's see. In July, I switched to the checklist layout. As you can see, I wasn't using it that much. I switched to the checklist layout because I thought it was a nice happy medium between the dashboard and the vertical. I would still get my lists and I could categorize them, which is honestly very helpful for me. I have ADHD and it helps me to categorize things. But I don't like decorating the checklist. And I discovered towards the end of the year when I kept switching to other layouts, I did use the checklist quite a bit, but I was also doing, I can't find any right now, but I was doing vertical and dashboard too. I just wasn't loving decorating this. And the reason mainly is I don't always want my lists to be in the middle of the page. Decoration wise, I want to have the flexibility to decorate wherever I feel like and not worry about covering up the lists. So that was kind of an issue for me. And so I am doing something different this year. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to move on. I'm going to tell you all about all of my 2024 planners, and then we will talk about the 2025. Okay. This is my reading journal for 2024, and I've been loving it this year. I've been using it, and you might have seen some of those videos. I've been having a really good time using a reading journal because this is the first reading journal I've ever had, and I actually stuck to it all year. And I'm going to continue to use this, and we'll talk about that. Here's my daily planner. This is a Hemlock and Oak. I love the planner. However, I didn't use it as much as I wanted to use it. A lot of the times I just ended up doing lists across the page and kind of using it for scratch paper. I want to change that for 2025, and we're going to talk about that. But this is a great daily planner. I really like it. I wasn't using it enough. Speaking of not using things, we're going to continue that trend. And this is my wellness planner for 2024. I actually started it in July and I ended it in July. Are you surprised? If you've been following me for quite a while, you might not be very surprised to know that I dropped the planner. I did try to continue some measurements, but I didn't even fill out my meal ideas. I think it was just too much for me. And I love the idea of having a journal about my health and fitness. I think it's so important, but realistically for me, I just don't know that I'm ever going to try it again because I've tried it so many times and I've talked about it on my channel and I've said, this time I'm going to use it, and we all do that sometimes. We're 100%, yes, we're going to do this, and then we don't. And that's just real life. So I abandoned this after July. During July, I abandoned this. I kept forgetting about it, it was on my desk, but I just didn't use it. What can I say? So I think we're done with trying at least for now, with the health and fitness planner. So this is my journal. And if you've been following me for a while, by the way, actually, a lot of you are probably new here. So hi, my name's Mary Ellen. I think I forgot to say that in the beginning. And my dog's name is Bumble. So my name is not Bumble, but I'm glad I named the channel after my dog because she does show up once in a while in good ways and bad ways. I have been using a creative journal for years. And this is the first year that I switched to like a bullet journal type planner or journal. So my plan was to do monthly pages, have a different theme every month, and just do these bullet journal pages, which I really, really like doing. But something happened this year, and probably what it was my breakup happened in February. So I was engaged, and we broke up at the end of February, and like middle to end, actually. And I just stopped using it. I know when you're going through a hard time, using a journal is supposed to be so good for you and cathartic, and like that's when you should be using it. But for me, I tend to abandon it during those hard times and then come back to it later. So I was giving myself time to not use it, but a month later, I still continued that trend. It just was not really something that I was filling out. So I tried to make it easier with less room to write. I still wasn't really doing it. And I don't really know why. Like, this is beautiful. I love doing these spreads. I love writing in them, but something was stopping me from doing it. So after July, I think is when I fell off completely. Yeah, I kept trying and then nothing the rest of the year. So I'm going to switch it up this year, and we're going to talk about that. I do really enjoy keeping a creative journal, but I think I just had some issues with it this year, and I'm going to change things up. So let's talk about what I'm doing for 2025. Let's talk about my main planner first. So there were a lot of people who were disappointed last year that I switched from using a big happy planner to a classic. There were a lot of people. And you will be happy to know I am going back to the big vertical. I really went back and forth with this. I couldn't decide what to do because here's my situation. I am not a very busy person. I don't have kids at home anymore. I don't have other people that I need to keep track of. I live alone and I don't have a very busy life. So I don't really need the space of a big happy planner, but I adore decorating the spreads. It's just a really great creative outlet for me. It's something I've enjoyed doing over the years, and I've always kept to my big planner. Like, I've pretty much stuck to it every time I used one. I rarely fell off. And I think this past year has been a lesson for me that even if I don't need the space, even if it was hard to fill up sometimes, I just love it so much. So this is the one I'm going to be using. The reason is I get planners for free from Happy Planner because I am someone who promotes their planners. So this is the only big vertical that I got from them. So I'm going to use it because I don't like to waste planners. And if I have it, and it was free, I'm going to try to use what I have rather than buy something else. However, I don't love this design. I mean, the cover's cute, but I don't love the dividers. They're not like doing it for me. I may keep the dividers. I'm not really sure yet. There's going to be a separate setup video. I don't care too much about dividers though. They are just there and I don't really look at them. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to switch the cover though to something else. I don't know what yet, but at least I have the pages all ready for me. And it's just like my heart, you know, like I'm going back to what I love and I just feel good about it. Okay, but here's the difference. This is what I'm going to do differently this year because like I said, I have a hard time filling it up. I'm going to try it this year. I don't know if this is going to work for me. I don't know if I'm going to love it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to combine my planner and my journal together into the big. Okay. And first I thought maybe what I should do is, up here, do the planner part, and down here, do the journal part. But that's going to limit me on design. And so I'm not really going to force myself to do it that way. I'm pretty much going to design the pages as I usually do. And then on each day, I'm going to be journaling and putting in my plans. Now, it might not be every single day that I journal, but I actually always do a little journaling in my planner anyway, so this kind of makes sense. I'm just going to take it a little further with the journaling. So it's going to be a combo, and I'm kind of excited about it because I think it's going to be easier for me, and it's going to be just less pressure on me to keep up with a separate journal and a separate planner, because sometimes it just takes a lot of time, especially for someone like me. I mean, you saw the way I like to, write in my spreads. I like to make them pretty. And let me find an example. Like, I like to use different fonts of writing and different colors. It just takes a lot of time when I make the spreads because I want them to be pretty. And how I realized that I wanted to go back to the big is that every month I create spreads for my patrons on Patreon. I create about 17, 18 spreads a month, and a lot of them are classic and a lot of them are big. And what I discovered during this year was that I really looked forward to creating the big spreads, but when it came to like a classic vertical or a classic dashboard, I just was like, I seem to love the big spreads more. I have a lot of room to decorate. So if I'm having a week where I just think that I don't have a lot of time to write, I'm going to really do it up big and put a lot of stickers and a lot of paper and everything else on the page to take up more room. And so you can see that throughout this year. But I'm excited about this. Very happy to be back. It feels like coming home again. So my journal is going to be in there, but I'm going to be doing something a little different this year because I really didn't want to abandon the journaling thing. I really like journaling in general. So here's what I'm going to do. I have this 𝘬𝘗 and Olive bullet journal here. This is just a dot grid journal, okay? So what I decided to do this year is get into junk journaling. And the reason for this is that it excites me. It's something a little bit different. It's something I've never really done before. I've done a couple of spreads, but never a whole junk journal. And when I say junk journal, I mean the kind of junk journal that like has actual junk from your life. I want to collect junk. It's always interested me, but I've been watching these videos lately and I find them fascinating. So receipts, pamphlets, little bits of like a paper bag with a logo on it or whatever, that kind of thing. And I'm going to put that stuff in here. The reason I think I can keep up with this is that I'm not going to pressure myself to do this every week. This is going to be like a once in a while thing. It could be every week if I'm excited about it, but it doesn't have to be. I'm not going to feel guilty if I don't write in it or use it, I should say. Now, there are two types of junk journaling that I've seen online. There are the pages that are completely decoration and they're not writing in them at all, which sounds weird because why are you calling it a journal? But it is a thing people do. And I love those. I think they're super fun to watch and like really pretty. And then there are pages that people decorate with the junk and write in, and they'll do journaling. This is going to be a combo. This is going to be whatever I feel like doing. Also, it's not going to be one style throughout because I love switching things up. So one page might be vintage and the next page might be bright colors or like pastel or cartoon animals. Like it's just going to be what I feel like at the time. And I think that that's going to make me happier than trying to stick with like a theme throughout. You know what I mean? Even if it's more aesthetically pleasing for Instagram or whatever. I don't care about that. I just want to have fun. And some of the pages I won't be filming. Sometimes you'll see me doing it online. Other times I want to have something that I enjoy that's offline, because I find myself thinking all the time, this has to be content, this has to be content. You know, if I'm doing something, let me film it because it's content. And I want to try to get out of that a little bit this year. Not that I'm not going to provide content for you, and you will see a lot of this. It's just that I want to enjoy the process just on my own once in a while. So that's what I might do in here. The other thing I might put in here, it might be like, oh, I got these new pens. I'm going to swatch them on these couple of pages. Or I might have a couple pages of lists. Like maybe I'll do like movies I want to see, or it's just whatever comes to mind is going to go in this. And I don't quite know what it's going to be yet, but I hope you'll stick around and see it transform, see what I do. I don't know. So as I said before, I'm going to continue with the reading journal, and I'm only up to, I started penciling in this year. There will be a video on this setup. I'm only up to here. Okay, so I have all of this. My goal is to stick in this actual journal until it's filled up. I've never filled up a journal in my life. And I think it would be fun to just have this always as my reading journal, you know, for years. So probably like, I don't even know, probably another 8 years will fit in here. I'm not sure, but I want to just stick in this one every single year and just be able to flip through and see what I've read in all the different years of my life. I think there's something about that rather than, you know, just jumping to something new because it's content, you know, like I just want to stick in one journal. I think that's really cool. Now, for my work planner, last year I only used this, and I used the app online, Asana. I kind of stopped using Asana around summer, or well, not really summer, maybe like September. I sort of fell off using it. I still might use Asana for some things related to my work, but I sort of want to get back into a paper planner. So this year for my work planner, I am going to continue using a Hemlock and Oak daily planner. I'm going to really try to stick to it this year. I love the idea of a daily planner, you guys, and I have used daily planners in the past. It's just for some reason this year I fell off on a lot of things. So I reached out to Hemlock and Oak and asked them if they wouldn't mind sending me a daily planner, and they're so nice, by the way. Thank you, Hemlock and Oak. They're like their customer service is really good. They're very like responsive and quick, and I just really appreciate that in a brand. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I just received a product from them. This is their new Charbon coated fabric. It's coated for durability and stain resistance, and so we'll see how that goes this year. But there's just something to be said for like a black bound planner. I don't know. I feel very professional. You know what I mean? Let me show you their daily planner really quick. So here's like the yearly thing. I feel like I'm not a professional YouTuber because I can't find words, you guys. I can't find words. I'm also 57 and I also have ADHD, so we have that going on. Here's a pretty useful page. You've got like all of your months and then an area for each one. Here's like year at a glance in quarters. Your holidays here, a blank page, and then your monthly. Now this is what your daily pages look like, and I actually really like this setup because you do have hourly blocks here for your schedule, which I always start a year thinking I'm going to time block, and I usually don't after about a month. But I love the idea of time blocking. I think it's so useful and it helps you be more productive. So I'm going to try again this year. But okay, so you have this and then this big section for your checklist. And that's a lot for each day, but I do usually have a lot of little things going on. So I think this is really useful. I'll probably also use it for my personal things too, in addition to my work tasks. We have a focus block here, intentions here. Yeah, so I actually love the layout, and the paper is really nice to write on. It's nice and smooth and it's thick enough. We don't have bleeding or anything. So I really do like this planner a lot. It just changes, you know, into the next month and then goes from there. I don't think there's anything in the back. Is there? Oh, year-end review. There is something in the back. Identify 5 memories from the last year that you want to cherish. Who or what are you grateful for in the last year and why? How have your values changed? All that kind of stuff. So you can think about your year and your year ahead. And a couple blank pages in the back. Wow, I can't speak, but you know what I mean. So very excited to try to use this again. I'm really going to make an effort, you guys, and I will show it to you. If I show it to you, maybe I really will. But I have one other thing I'm doing, and that is using a work planner, and I asked Hemlock and Oak for this one too. This is their new horizontal planner, and I adore this layout. I think this layout's going to be perfect for work. Now, keep in mind, I don't decorate my work planner. I think when I started YouTube, I did, but I don't anymore because my work planner is so functional and messy, and I just like write a bunch of lists. Like you saw my handwriting in there. It's not great. This is the color Nimbus. Okay. So I don't decorate this, and I think this is a perfect layout for me. We'll see. So you have like your little index here. It tells you about the planner and how to use it, I suppose. I haven't really dug into this yet. Personal values, self-reflection. What moments in your life have been the most meaningful and fulfilling to you? What are you most proud of? What memories give you energy? What memories drain your energy? That's good. By the way, now's a good time to tell you that I do have a code for you. You can save 10% with code BUMBLE10 over at Hemlock and Oak, and I'll put a link in the description. Really great brand, and I love their planners. I will also link whatever other planners I can find from my stack. The Archer and Olive one actually came from a subscription box, so I don't think that one's available, but I will try to find, you know, what I can for you, and everything will be in the description. Also, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you're interested in this kind of content, I would appreciate that. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. It's just a personal goal. It's not something necessary, but it's something, you know, that I'd like to do this year. So thanks for that. Okay, so we have a self-reflection page. Identify 4 people you respect and admire. What qualities do they have that you appreciate? Imagine listening to a positive conversation about yourself in the future. What do you want to hear? You wake up to the best day ever tomorrow. What does it look like? Identify 5 negative thoughts or beliefs that you hold about yourself. Reframe them into neutral or positive statements. Create 5 statements about yourself that are positive and uplifting. Don't hold back. This is your space to honor and acknowledge the beautiful things about you. Okay, using your favorite highlighters, markers, or pens, select words that stand out to you. And you've got like a whole bunch of descriptive words here. Identifying values. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you get the gist. We've got some prompts here so you can reflect. A whole page about setting goals. More setting goals pages. It looks like each one is for a different. I'll read them because each one is a different goal. What is your goal? Why is it important to you and your values? What habits will you need for this journey? Identify 3 steps that will kickstart your journey. Brainstorm some markers that will help you measure and identify your progress. Identify meaningful milestones that will help you celebrate your journey. And when will you review your journey? How often? Okay, so you've got different pages for each goal. And then habits. Yeah, like tracking your habits, talks about that. So each of these pages is about a particular habit. What habit do you want to cultivate? What steps will cue the habit? Track your journey. What adjustments can you make? Celebrate 3 positive aspects of your journey. Actually, this is for 2 habits here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 habits. Yeah. And then daily framework. How do you want to start each day? So this is great because it's basically setting yourself up for success in the new year. And I love this. I do think I'm going to fill these out. And I don't usually fill out the prompts in these planners, but I think I'm going to do it this time. your ideal schedule, all sorts of stuff. Write down anything important you might need to reference throughout the year. Okay, so here is, we're getting into like the planner portion here, and you have your calendar. Again, those pages where you have one for each month, a space for each month, I mean. Your quarterly pages here. I don't know what I'm going to be using these for. I actually might use these for videos, possibly, but I'm also going to be using my monthly view for videos, so I'm not sure yet, but I'll talk about that in the setup video. So holidays, blank page, and then we go into the month. So for each month, you're going to have an overview. What boundaries will you set for yourself this month? List 3 ways you can carve out time for self-care. What intentions do you have this month? What milestones are you focusing on? What habits do you want to cultivate this month? Are there any barriers? Frequency, and it goes from 1 time a week to 7 times a week. Reward, habit tracker. Self-care is how you take your power back, and then you have a whole blank page there. So this is the monthly page, and you've got your monthly, but then you also have this big long list on the side, which I like. So it's like, what are you going to do this month? There are your things you're doing this month, and it's right on your monthly page. So you could totally fill this out and then like take each one of these and plug them into the days that you want to do them. Okay, so this is the guts, and this is why I like this planner for work. You have a really long list for the week over here. And actually, it's such a big page that you could probably, you know, put a line down the middle, and you're going to have even more space if you need more of a list. But over here, it is like a true horizontal layout, but which I'm not usually a horizontal girl. However, for work, we might make an exception, because what I usually do for work, and if you're new here, this is my job. So what I usually do when I'm using a work planner, which I haven't used one, obviously, in a year or two, but what I usually do is I have a long list for the week, and I don't necessarily write them in here because that's what my daily planner is for. So this will be a list to refer to when I'm filling out my daily planner. And what I'm going to be putting here is like release dates and deadlines and things like that. Maybe even the videos that I'm putting out on the days. Patreon, things I'm doing on Patreon. So it's just going to be like a reference for each day of the week. It's not going to be a to-do list or anything like that. So I just love it. It's so simple and just very minimal and just easy on the eyes, don't you think? I just think this is a really nice layout, and I'm excited to use it. So let's see if there's anything in the back. Probably a year end review, yeah. And again, same deal. We're talking about all the stuff that happens at the end of the year, what happened during the year, what are you going to change, improve upon, all that kind of stuff, and then some blank pages in the back. So that is my weekly work planner. So that's it. That's what I'm using this year. And I don't know about you, but I get super, super excited when I start a new year and new planners. It gives me a renewed sense of determination, a renewed sense of hope for the year. And it's just like a reset, and it's just always such an exciting time. I know that it takes me a long time to get these videos out, but it's usually because I'm really thinking really hard about what I'm going to do this year. You know, it's hard to decide. But what I will tell you is that if you start a planner and you realize it's not for you, it's okay to abandon that planner and try something else. It's also okay if you're using like a happy planner or any other kind of disc-bound planner that you can take pages in and out of. It's okay if you're using a vertical and you're like, this just isn't for me. You can take other pages and put them in there and use other layouts in the same planner. So don't think that you have to stick with what you start with. It's just nice to get excited, you know, for the new year. So I'm definitely excited. So yes, stay tuned for my other videos coming up for the new year, which are like things about word of the year and my planner setup and maybe some things about goals. I don't know. I've got a reading journal setup coming, junk journal setup, all sorts of things. So stay tuned. There probably will be more videos this week because of the excitement of the new year. Let me know in the comments what you guys are using for your 2025 planners, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.